Welcome to another episode of an intimate conversation with women of color. I am your host, Deneen L. Garrett, and today's guest is someone I've known for several years. Her name is Samieh. I call her Sam Franklin. Samieh is a results-oriented project manager with over 17 years experience and a passion for collaborating with and helping others. I definitely can attest to that, as well as solving complex business problems. She has a persuasive and enthusiastic management and leadership style with focus on volunteering and giving back to the community. Sam, tell us more about you and welcome to the show.
Thank you, Deneen. It's so good to see you. I miss being with you every year at our ERG conference. AT&T has been a big part of me becoming who I am as an individual and helping me guide myself towards my career. It was like a total breakup when I got laid off in July of 2020. I went on this freeze, calling myself going through pre-retirement, a time where I could take off some time and just, getting to know myself again and just absorbing everything that I have learned and I have created in the past. So I sat around and I'm like, I need to make money too, right? So I'm a single mom. I have 3 kids. I just had a new grandbaby. So I went back to the roots of what I've learned in the beginning of my career is in technology. Technology is everything for me. I'm a STEM person. So I began to make websites for friends, family, things of that nature. And I'm really good at it because I like to help people. So it's just like perfect for me, building apps and things. So I opened up a company. It's called Info.womentechgurus. And I made it an LLC. So it's a lot to this, becoming a new business owner and just learning the aspects of different businesses.
Yeah.
So I have a mental. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was just going to say, so you've been busy with your time.
Yeah,
You've been occupied, right? You just went from one thing to another. Didn't miss a beat.
Yeah, I did my pre-retirement for a couple of months, and then I started working out businesses. Yeah, I can't sit down. I'm one of those people. Well, I get antsy. Women Tech Gurus is coming along. I had to take some marketing classes because I'm not good in that field, just to present myself and everything because it's a digital online marketing tool. So it's websites, apps, anything anyone needs that's starting up a business and they need assistance with, I'm here to do that. So the other organization I started is called Strong Sisters Incorporated. So it's a nonprofit group to centralize on women that's from 18 to 25 years old. I think that was the hardest time in my life to kind of figure out what I'm going to do with myself because 18, they tell you you're grown, but you're still trying to just figure your way out the world. So I thought it would be great, me being a woman and being empowered and going through a lot of adversity in my own life, to help out others of that age bracket. So I'm currently recruiting. I need folks that are willing to give their time and their efforts and everything to help support me with Strong Sisters Inc.
I love that. And so we'll definitely have your contact information in the notes, the show notes. So again, she's recruiting, right? She's needing help with her vision for Strong Sisters. So our audience out there, whether you're listening on your favorite podcast platform or you're watching on YouTube, again, this is Samieh Franklin. She retired last year and hasn't, stopped for a few minutes, just sat down for a few minutes, but hit the ground running as I know her to do. Because, as I mentioned, I've known her for a while, so it's been over 10 years, and we would see each other every year in the fall when we would go to our company's employee resource group conference. And so she and I have stayed connected ever since, and watching her and seeing what she's doing and how she's selfless and giving back to others is not a surprise that she started these 2 businesses. So Women Tech Girls, WTG, and Strong Sisters SS. So Sam, You
Yes,
know, you talked about Strong Sisters being focused on the 18 to 25 year age, and that was a, you know, pivotal time for you. Why is it
yes.
important for Black women to have a platform to use their voices?
Oh, it is so very important. I think, it comes to the terms of where we think that, or we're perceived as we're boisterous or we're too aggressive or we're too loud. I've heard people say that to me before. Oh, to me, you're so loud. I can't help the way I sound, right? I can't help the way I look. Um, but I always had a voice to express myself. If you don't, you stay stable. And that's what Strong Sisters is about, is to talk about exactly what you asked me, voice yourself and tell people what you want. They won't know. They
Yeah.
won't know. You can't sit there and make an assumption and thinking that someone knows where you want to go and what your goals are unless you explain yourself. So it's very important to have your.
You know, and as you were sharing that, I was reflecting back on, I went to a conference and it was a woman, Black woman, and I believe she was with IBM. And I remember her kind of talking about this and saying how she needed to let her leadership know what she wanted because her leader didn't go to bed thinking about her, right? And so
That's
that
right.
resonated with me, right? You know, there was a time probably when, you know, we put your head down, get your work done, excel, and people will recognize you. That happens a little bit, but not as much. And if
Yeah.
it's not happening for you, then guess what you have to do? You have to use your voice and speak up and let folks know what you need. So I'm glad that you're doing what you're doing with Strong Sisters. So with the Women Tech Girls, not only is it a woman-based technical solutions company, it also supports the underprivileged community,
Yeah.
small business, profit, and nonprofit, and sole proprietorships of digital marketing and app-based solutions, as you mentioned. And then, you know, Strong Sisters, you know, your goal there is sisterhood, you know.
Yeah.
So tell us more about how you are using your voice for Black women through these nonprofits, through these businesses.
Yeah. So I think it's very important that we know that we're here to support each other. We still have a lot of underlying stigmas showing that women of color aren't here for each other. And women, period, right? I think that needs to stop. It has to stop because we're so talented. We do so many multitasking efforts, being a mom, working. We do so much. We need. I'm ready. Okay.
So we, as women, we do a lot, we spend a lot on other people. And so go ahead and finish sharing.
Yes, I think we if you look at statistics, Black women, we spend a lot of money. And if we're gonna spend a lot of money, let's empower each other to share the money amongst one another. And that's the way we're gonna be able to make it and elevate. Everyone is. I think we have a lot of people that are on the same goals to work together, but we still have a lot of underlying hatred, and that comes from a lot of slave mentality. We need to focus and really stop that slave mentality and get ready and shoot for our goals and work together to do that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I love when I'm seeing people who come together, right? So when I went to college, I did not go the Greek route, and I do envy women who are in that sisterhood, right? Men who are in that particular brotherhood, and I think it's just a great thing to have. And
Yeah.
and even though whether you're a part of it or not, you still can come up with your own sisterhoods, right? That's what you're doing for young
Yeah.
adult women, right? So we can,
Yeah.
still create our own, but it's such a beauty when we come together and we support one another and we have one another, back everything that you said. And even when we pool our money together, there are people who have finance clubs, there are folks who are building back, buying back the block and whatnot. But it takes us to come together because we are better together, right? And because, as you mentioned, with the things that are systemic and systematic, and it all comes from slavery that has pushed us so far back behind. And the way to get there, to get further, is together. So I love it. I love everything that you're doing. So some women don't recognize the power of their voices, which I'm sure you come across. And I like to say using your voice could be speaking. It could be writing, acting. It's however you want to express yourself. It also could be living freely and enjoying every moment as you encourage. What do you tell the women through WTG and SS to empower them to recognize the power of their voices?
Yes, I'm a stickler on finding who you are and knowing what you love to do and just doing it. We all have talents. We were all blessed by God to have some type of talent. Maybe the talents that you have, you just didn't tap into yet. But if somebody else sees that talent in you, listen to them. When I first wanted to go to school, I wanted to be a scientist. I wanted to be a pathologist. And when I went to school, I talked to my counselor, and she was like, well, Samieh, you just had a baby, you want to make money fast. I told her that was a priority too. And she said, computers are going to be a big thing in a couple of years. And I was like, computers? I don't know how I fit in with that, but I always had good math skills. So I'm like, okay, well, let me give it a try. And without that guidance counselor telling me that, I would have never pushed in that field, and I wouldn't be who I am today. So I think that sometimes you don't know what your talents can bring out of you until you try it. You just got to try different things, and whatever makes you feel good. Whatever makes you feel good, just do it. And when you do it, people will see that, and they will see your passion, and they'll help you to push you further.
You know what? And you're right, because right now, like today, you're in the Facebook group, and today is about it's Manifesting Monday. And when I'm praying, I'm like, I'm attracting and I'm manifesting this, attracting and manifesting that. And it's so true, right? I was looking for like 3 guests to close out my year for the show. And boom, they manifested. Right. And it was interesting how they manifested, because it was through something that I wasn't a part of. It's a pod match. It's matching guests. And the person that reached out, a few months ago, wasn't paying it any attention. They followed up, and I'm like, oh, let me check it out. And I got my 2 final guests from there. And I shared yesterday on social media that, again, I'm attracting and manifesting, that I have a wait list for 2022.
That's right. I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So, and like you said, when you are walking in your passion, your purpose, you do attract, you do manifest those things that you want, and that will help you and push you further. And just go back to your counselor. That's an example of how we are better together. That's an example of how she used her voice for you to amplify yours. And look, X number of years later, look what you're doing for others. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is. It is. It is. I hope she's still, I haven't spoken to her since. Maybe I should go and try to find her and tell her thank you.
You know what? Maybe that's probably why you're bringing her up.
Thank you. Yes.
Right. Look her up on Facebook, girl.
Maybe she'll see this.
Right. Exactly. Share it with her. So, in memory of my sister, author and poet Soul True, she wrote a book, and the title of it's Dream Deferred. And when I was reflecting on that title, I was thinking about what dreams have I deferred, and wanting to encourage other women to think about dreams they've deferred, they've delayed, and, to act. So what dream have you deferred, and what have you done about it?
So I was a big in Living Color fan. So I really wanted to go to Spelman, right? So that was my thing. I'm going to Spelman. I'm gonna be at ATL. That is where I'm gonna be. But I had a teenage pregnancy, and it was either you leave your son home and you come to school, or Okay, so yeah, it was, my son, he'll be 25 this year. So it was either, bring my son, stay with my son or go to school. But now, it's so wonderful that there's options now where I can support women that have early pregnancies. I'm not promoting that at all, but
Right.
what I am saying is there are options if you do get into that predicament where you can take your kid to school with you, which is, 25 years later, thank God, but I help with those programs. So I feel like I'm still being a part of Spelman, but not really inadvertently, because the colleges that I'm supporting is not Spelman, but I'm still helping women that have, kids as teens and they still want to pursue their life dreams. So I am
That's
happy
awesome.
about that.
No,
Yeah.
that's awesome, because you know what, it's reality, right? You said you're not promoting
Yeah.
it. No, absolutely
No,
not. But
no.
what you are doing is
I really
realizing,
want everybody to win.
yeah,
Please.
right. I mean, it
Yeah.
happens. It's been happening.
Yeah.
It happened. It was
Yeah.
happening before you. It will continue to
Yeah.
happen. So we don't want to
That's
leave
true.
anybody behind. So again, thank you for
That's right.
Strong Sisters, what you're doing. And you talked
Thank
earlier about the, money, right? About pulling
you.
money together, et cetera, around finances. So August, the focus is on Black Women Equal Pay Day, which was August 3rd. And I want to
Yes.
continue the conversation. I started talking about, wealth in July on the show. And so I want to continue that. So what are your
Okay.
reactions to Black women only making 63 cents on a dollar compared to a white man? How do you define wealth? And what is the relevance of wealth building, which we did kind of touch on a little bit, but I want to hear
Yes.
more from you.
Well, I'm happy we know the statistics finally, because I know this has been going on for years and years and years and years. I'm really, it makes me feel like we still live in a slave ship. Because it's 2021 and it's so sad that it matters of what you look like still, right? We're so past that. To me, I feel like I'm so past it, but a lot of people are really not past it. And I live in a world where I think I try to blind myself to it, but it's obvious. You can't ignore it anymore. I think it's a good thing that you have these intimate conversations. I'm telling you, Deneen, because um people need to understand wealth. We're strong sisters. I have Ingrid, if you remember Ingrid Dillon, she's really good with finances and she's creating a finance shop and everything.
Oh, nice.
So that we can start it off in high school. So once
yes.
the girls get 18, we'll already have that workshop ready and available for them to learn how to save their funds. And everything we want to do is for free. So of course, with Strong Sisters, we need funding for that too. But by building wealth comes with a lot. To me, you build wealth by making sacrifices. The wealth that I'm trying to build now with these organizations, I want to pass them down to my daughter, who is now 15 years old. I'm teaching her, and she's going to be the co-CEO of both organizations. I have different CEOs of different organizations, and they're going to help mentor her and teach her how to, properly be a professional in this big, huge world. So I think wealth building is sacrifice and also a lot of assistance. You need help. You need to understand wealth. You need education about wealth. Sometimes we miss the ball, so we're so late and far gone that we don't even know where our dollar is going. People don't understand the value of money, on how not just having a house is having a house. A house is a part of your wealth. I think people don't understand that. They rather rent an apartment. I was one of those people. I don't want to be bothered with any of that, but you have to think about how you pass on generational wealth. And if we're gonna break generational curses, we have to break our realization of being selfish and learning to prepare our children and our family for our future. If you don't do that, then you don't have wealth. Wealth is built not overnight. It's going to take a long time to build wealth. I think, we can start now, but it's going to take 20 years from now. And it'll be great if I see it, and if I don't, it doesn't matter. At least I started it. I think everybody needs to take a stance and start trying to build their wealth. And if you don't know how, there's tons of financial advisors. There's tons of people that have free financial courses. Just take the time and learn about it. And I think we'll be okay. Yeah, I really don't like the fact that I got paid 62 cents to a man's dollar. I think even with Black men too, they get paid less than white men. I think that's horrible too. I think white women get paid more than Black women, which is horrible too. I just don't want to say Black women. I want to say, all women of color. We don't get paid enough. And we do a lot, and we usually do more than our job expectations. So we definitely have to change that. See, me with Women's Tech Gurus, I'm offering, anybody who does a project with me, based on the revenue that I receive, we go 50-50 on the revenue spending. I think that kind of sets the tone of trying to change things, because usually the people that are working for you, they think that you're making more money than them. And that causes a lot of confusion. But when you show people exactly how much you're making and exactly how much the company has to spend out, then they understand wealth better. And that's another educational learning factor. And I'm hiring for women.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're partnering, right? They're not necessarily working for you; they're working with you.
We're doing it together. Yes.
No,
yes.
That's
and it makes a different. It makes a different atmosphere. Everybody's happy. Yes, everybody's happy, and everybody's having a great day.
And and they're invested, right? They're invested because it's a different mentality when you're working for somebody. That's it. You're working for that person. You're helping them with whatever their vision is. Exactly. Right. But no, we're partnering together. That's a beautiful thing.
Yes. Our goal is to get rich together. Yes.
Absolutely.
We got to do it together. Teamwork.
Yeah. So again, kudos to you for starting the programs, right? Because that's something that we don't talk about, right? Because we didn't know. In our community, we didn't really know about wealth. We didn't know really what to do with finances. We couldn't really teach our children. No,
we didn't have any.
We not to build. So again, we're so far behind. But for women like you and others who are, teaching that, it's needed, and it's definitely something that I feel needs to be taught in school and at a much earlier. You know what I'm saying? So. I'm all for it. I think people are now starting to wake up and say, hey, we need this in school, right? So you're looking at high school, then it will be middle school and so on and so forth. And that's what we need to do. We need to teach our children earlier what to do with money, right? And while you were talking, I was thinking about the song by the OJs, For the Love of Money. And, and we also have to let go of whatever thoughts we have about money. Right? Like money is bad. And no, it's your love of it. It's your worship of it, as opposed to recognizing the value that it brings, what it's able to do for you and for others. So it's really changing your mindset and your perspective of money.
That's true. And I think that mentality comes from when people have money, they worship it, right? You see what's his name? Scrooge McDuck. He used to swim in the money and stuff like that. Those are the notions that I think people think that, people worship money. Me personally, I've never been that type of person, but I do love money because I have to pay my bills.
Yeah.
I have to make sure that I have the type to eat or go out, or my little vices I like to do. Without money, you can't buy those things. You can't have the lifestyle that you want. Now, if you don't care about those things and you still just want to live, you still need money to pay your bills. So we have to be realistic here. You need money in this world, and it doesn't matter where you live, you have to pay. So you have to make sure that you have money.
Absolutely. So before we close,
I want to put this little plug in there. My mom, it's something that people need to also do with their children. When I was a little girl, Oh, okay. You can hear me, right, Denise? I'm sorry. Okay. So my mom, she used to let me balance her checkbook as a little girl when I was like 8 or 9 years old, because I used to beg for everything. Oh, mommy, can I get this? I could get that. And she was like, listen, I don't have the money. And I guess that wasn't working for her. And she was like, look, Samieh, this is what we have to pay for. And I'm like, oh, okay. I get it.
Right?
Okay, I get it. So by me doing that with her, it taught me about how to manage my money as well. So I think that's something that, that can be taught at home.
Absolutely.
I never thought the importance of it until I became a mom, and I started doing it with my kids too. So they
Yeah.
can understand that everything costs. Toothpaste, you don't realize that until you're grown and you get your own apartment and you're like, oh my God, toothpaste is like $5.
Right?
A pack of tissue is $20 for the big roll. Yes, all that stuff counts. So
Right.
go ahead,
And
Janine,
everything
because
you
I,
have to
I
pay
can run
for.
you all day. Go
Right.
ahead.
And you have to buy, like, stuff doesn't just magically appear. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Like, no,
it
you
does
have to
not.
buy all of that stuff. But it's funny you brought up the checkbook because, you mentioned living single. And so I'm thinking different world, I believe is the show. So Denise, when she's away at college, and she was just,
Yes,
bouncing checks left and right because she didn't understand how to balance a
the
checkbook.
value of money. I'm like, oh my God, they got a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah. And look, and let's keep it real. I've been in Denise's space at one point or another as well,
That's right.
so
That's
you got to
right.
stay on
That's
it.
right. Because you try to make $1 out of 15 cents, right? It's
Right.
just like that phrase, because you got to do what you got to do to live and survive. I think that's a lot of us Black women. We try to be survival all the time, and
Mhm.
sometimes you don't have the money to buy that. You just don't. You have to take from here to do that, so you're late on your bills. I get it. I've been
Yeah.
through all of that. I've been through it all. I know. I get it.
So before, we wrap it up, how do people contact you? It's going to be in the show notes, but I just want you to say it for those who may not necessarily pay attention to the show notes, just to hear it. So how
Yeah.
do they support you with supporting sisters and WTG?
Yes, so please call me or text me. That's probably the best way. Email, you can use my email too. That's great. That's perfect. But I'm always busy. I still work a full-time job too. I'm at Comcast now. Great team, great people, love them as well. But I'm a busy person, and I really want to know what you want to do. I'll call you one-on-one so I can really figure out, and I can become you for your website or your app or whatever you need. But the best way is to text or call me, or email the different inboxes based on which organization you would like to be a part of, or if you would like to donate to. If you have computers, if you have anything, it'll all be given back and it'll be of good usage. So I really appreciate this platform, Deneen, for you to let me advertise my business. You've always been in my corner. You've always been a great, 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 great person. I can't wait to see you in person. I guess when I start doing my rounds with Strong Sisters Inc., I definitely will be coming to see you, definitely, so we can do dinner. Keep this intimate conversations coming. I want to come back again and again and again so we can talk more. And thank you so much. Thank you.
You are so welcome. I definitely appreciate you. And again, just, letting you all know, whether you're listening on your favorite podcast platform or watching on YouTube, greatly appreciate you. Please continue to do so. As Sam was talking about, being able to really support young women, she needs support, right? She needs donations, she needs bodies, she needs our time, etc. And same thing with me. My vision is to elevate the voices of millions of women of color. And in order to do so, I have to reach them. And that's where you all come in. So subscribe to the YouTube channel, to the website, deneengarrett.com. Share it with other people, share, comment, like, leave a voicemail, all of those things, because I want to grow this. I want to be able to bring Sam back and other people and all the voices that you all want to hear. So it takes, for me to hear from you what you want, what you like, and again, getting the word out. So Sam, final words.
Yes, my final words is intimate conversations is the bomb, Deneen. I try to like everything, but you got so many posts going on. I love it all. Just keep it coming. You humble me sometimes, and you push me sometimes too. You know, the words of encouragement that you place out there are phenomenal. It seems like you had some great women up there. So kudos to all you women as well. And just keep it coming, Denise. Keep doing your thing. You're doing well. I love it. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sister. Thank you so much. And so again, thank you for lending your voice to an intimate conversation with women of color, and enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Thanks, Denise.
You're welcome.